Ah, yes, Kingsland on my second account in 2359. It is wrapping up now. This KvK is kind of coming to an end as far as the meaningful fightings go. We were in 2359, of course, in my second account. We were allied with 3303 and 875, and we were taking on 2728, 1903, and 365, and really did well. This is the video that's going to talk about all the things we found. All the report manager stuff, all the results from everything that we did, the rallies, the garrisons. We're going to talk about all of this, and we're going to discuss this. Don't freak out, but 2 Cav combos may be the way, so stick around.
Rallies lit up, marching right from the zone to the zone. I stay in control. Man of the people, all heart, no roll, no script, no throne, just rhythm and fire. Built for the push, never gonna tire. You feel that burn, and you already know we're locked in deep. This is Chatsky mode. This is Chatsky mode.
Hey everybody, I'm your boy War Daddy Chatsky, and I do videos all the time. Love doing these types of videos. This is a results video. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you enjoy it, throw a thumbs up on it, give it a like, and if you're not subscribed, consider doing so. Hit that subscribe button, join the legion of subscribers that we have, and click that bell to get alerts for any kind of content like this. You can get it first from your YouTube account, and it works out pretty well. This is Kingsland, okay? We were up in here, and I'm going to do a real quick overview. We were here in 2359. We were up in this area, Zone 4, and we fought a Zone 5 in this area. We fought that against 2728. That's Black Mamba's crew. Now, the middle camps is top versus bottom. The middle camp of 3303 and 1903 down here could not enter any of the Zone 5s we were fighting. So 875 took on 365 over here. 875 led by Abu Hind. He's been doing it for a long time. They did really well. And so we took on 2728, went through a ton of fort walls, and really kind of had a stalemate type of Zone 5, but we were pushing through the fort walls. Then Zone 6 opened, and that's when 3303, Makote and that crew and the boys entered the chat, and they really focused hard over here to help 875 against 365. And in addition, 1903 was able to enter as well, and they entered up here, and then we also fought them over here. So the top and bottom camps could go either way. And that's how that worked out. So Kingsland happened and started yesterday. We started hammering Kingsland. You can see in the pink here, that's where 3303 came in the middle. We were over here on the left fighting 2728 again. 1903 really pushed hard out this way towards helping their 365 compatriots, and 365 in yellow. You can see they're almost out of Kingsland, and 875 is in green. They pushed it down. So we have almost got these guys pushed out of Kingsland. It's been a fun KvK. It's been a blast. A lot of fighting. Open zone 6s, man. I swear. Every KvK needs to be open zone 6s. No protected zone 6s with past 7 fightings. People don't like them. Okay, you go fight in an altar, you fight in a pass for past 7 for a few days, and then Kingsland open. Everybody has access to Kingsland. Open zone 6s are the best. You get so much more fighting, and if you're just really good with territory, you can get access to Kingsland. That's not a problem. That is not a problem, just depending on how you set up your alliances and things like that. But I love open zone 6s. This is Orleans KvK. We used auxiliary skills, had a great time doing it. And so, with that being said, I'm going to show you the marches that I was running. We'll get into the march phase of this, okay? This is pretty simple for me. And I went through and tested a lot of different things as KvK. People that knew and followed my streams and fighting, I would test anything. And I have Hector maxed on this account because I'm running garrisons. The Hector mixed garrison was the star of this KvK. Once Hector came out, more and more kingdoms started using it. We saw CY Hector. We saw Gorgo Hectors. We saw Hectors everywhere. Okay, and that's just the choice. That's what you gotta run. We saw it in Kingsland. We saw it everywhere. But that allowed me to run Hector with my field marches because Hector is very versatile with that. But here is what I ran. I ran a Chen Zuge. I ran Ragnar with CPO, even though it's probably my worst march of some of these things that I put out. But Ragnar CPO was still what I ran. I ran BQ with Wallace. Now this has got my garrison gear, the BQ Wallace. We'll talk about that later. And then I went to 2 combos. And the reason why is because my Huo was getting smashed. Huo Joan, when I would run Arthur Achilles, Huo Joan was getting wrecked. Okay, and then when I started running Arthur with Huo just to help carry it. I would run Achilles with Hector. I'd run Achilles with Philip. I would try to get Achilles to work somewhere else, and that did fine because Achilles will carry. But still, my Huo Arthur got wrecked. Just got wrecked. And so I had it. I was fed up with it. The skill damage for Cavs just aren't working. It's all about instant proc now. It's all about instant damage. It's all about combo now. So in the middle of KvK, I switched over my set of, I'll show it to you here. This is my set I had on Huo. And it's got 2 specials, 2 rares, really good. It's not meta, but it's really, really good. And I switched that over from skill damage to combo. So now I ran 2 combo marches, and you're going to see why. And so you can see here, by the end of KvK, I just run 6 marches on this account. I don't have 7. All right, this is my baby account, if you will. And then obviously I ran Luce with Alex, allowing me to run BQ with Wallace, and then that put Philip behind Arthur, and it put Hector behind Achilles. And collectively, it just did so much better for me. The 2 combos did so much better for me. And so I'm not even running Gang Gang, and it still did better for me. And so from that standpoint, that's just something to think about. I'm not saying everybody needs to go do that, because everybody's head would explode if you have to go convert your skill damage wedge Cav over to Delta, but that's just what I ran. When I was in Garrison, I would put the good gear on Gorgo, and I'd run Gorgo Hector. Then I would move Luce with BQ, and I would still run Ragnar CPO, still run Chin with Zuge. And then I would run Arthur with William, and then I'd run Achilles with Philip, since my Hector was with Gorgo. 2 combo. That's how I ran it. And it ran pretty well. I ran this most of the day in Kingsland yesterday because I was garrisoning every building flag. It was like, Chatsky, get in the flag. You're garrisoning our front forward flags. And I was like, no problem. I'm low on speed ups anyways. And so that's how I ran these things. So let's talk about this, because this is something that we're going to have to digest, okay? We're going to talk about how this thing worked out in the report manager. It's Cuba's Mic Report Manager. It's what I use, and it helps me find everything. So I'm going to show this to you, okay? Now, what you're going to see on the top, and the main thing I'm looking at is power ratio, okay? That's the second to last column there. That's what I have this sorted by. And you can see that Chin with Zuge is still tops, all right? And just to give you some perspective on that, this is my Chin here. I don't even have, meta stuff on here. I don't even have the Unstoppable. I use Boiling Blood. And then down here, I got real lucky on this. Strategic and Warflames, that's 3% all damage. And I don't want to run Balanced on this, because Balanced isn't necessarily good for Chin. He can't get the rage up above 80% very often. So I got some lower rolls, but that's how I ran my Chin. Nothing crazy. And my gear, honestly, I'm missing some crits. I don't have the crit pants. I don't have the crit gloves. I don't have tier 5 anything. And I do have a crit skill damage pendant, which is good, but no tier 5 stuff, just run-of-the-mill stuff. And then this is what he does. This is why Chin is like the OP meta. Oh, I'll get to that in a sec. And that's why he's at the top. Trading 157% on power ratio. He's just incredible. And that's not with maxed out gear and stuff. The second best march I had was BQ with Wallace. Now, the reason why my BQ Luce wasn't better than BQ Wallace is because I only ran BQ and Luce when I was running my Garrison. So I had my second infantry set on BQ and Luce. At the top there, in the second place with my BQ William, I ran my meta set. And just for people to understand what my meta set looked like, it looks like this right here. I've got it on Emilianus. We were rallying some cities, whatever. This is what I run for my meta set. That's my Garrison set. Still working on my hammer. It is tier 2. I'll have it to tier 4 at the end of KvK, and it'll be decked out, and that's how it'll work. Now, my pincer stuff when it comes to CPO Emilianus and my Garrison set is pretty cracked, right? It's pretty good. Crazy amount of health, all specials. And so that is the setup for my BQ with Wallace. That's why it did so well. But then look at this, guys. Arthur Achilles, all right? I have no tier 5 stuff on my Arthur Achilles. Nothing. Okay, and that's what I ran when I was running Huo. It's extremely powerful. If it had the same If it had the same meta set as my BQ Wallace for Pincer and Infantry, if I had that same thing for Cavalry and Delta, it would be above that. And so even with kind of a S-, A+ set on my Arthur Achilles, look what it's doing. It's doing incredibly well. And then I'm going to come back to the Achilles and Hector and Achilles and Philip, because that comes in later. You can see my BQ Luce here. That's when I'm running the Garrison. I've got my second set of gear on that, and it still does pretty well. I've got Arthur with Philip, which is what I ran a lot of. You can see where that is. And then Luce with Alex with my last set of gear. That's when I ran 6 field marches, no Garrison. I put my last set of infantry gear on my Luce with Alex, just traded above positive. It kind of gets wrecked a little bit. I don't have a great pincer set for that one. And then you see Ragnar. All right. Now, this is where it gets important. We have Ragnar with Philip. I'm going to scroll this up, and you guys are going to see something pretty interesting. I'll pull it all the way up to the top. Okay. Ragnar with Philip, all right, does better for me than Ragnar with Scipio. And so I only ran Ragnar Philip a handful of times at the beginning. Well, I say a handful of times. It ran quite a bit at the beginning when I still ran the Huo, because it allowed me to move Philip over to Ragnar. Okay, and that's what I liked. But here's the problem. All right, look at the bottom there. That's why I changed. I ran Huo with Joan, just got wrecked. Okay, traded 83%. And then trying to carry Huo, I put Arthur with me. That traded at 87%. So not much better. Not much better. And so from that standpoint, that's when I had enough. I went to 2 combo commanders instead. So even when I ran Huo Arthur at 87%, and then I was able to run Arthur and Achilles at the top that did 130%. All right, that's really good. But overall, I'm really only trading barely positive with that. However, when I went to 2 combos, you can see it there, and I'm running Achilles with Hector, I'm trading 125%. And then if you look down a little bit, you see Arthur and Philip. Okay, so those are now the 2 combo marches I use. That's trading at 108%. So collectively doing much, much better than a Huo Arthur or a Huo Joan and Achilles, or Arthur and Achilles. So my skill damage marches just drug it down. Okay, and that's why I changed. Getting collectively better reports and more effectiveness out of my 2 combo set. That's the biggest takeaway from me. And then at the bottom, if you see CPO behind Ragnar trading at 86%, it's going to be my worst March now that I run 2 combo. It's just going to be that way. You can see where Ragnar and Philip do better, but I had to use Philip with my combo when I ran 2 combo cab marches, and that's how I had to do it. So just talking through some of that, it goes into more of that discussion about the instant damage meta video that I had put out. It goes more into the discussion of, do we actually want to run 2 combo instead of a combo and a skill damage? I am not going to make that proclamation. It's going to make everybody's head explode. We have more skill damage formations coming out in the game, and we've got Delta formations later on, maybe in the spring. So we just maybe need to wait and see for most players. But if you have the means, I'm telling you right now, if you have the means to do it, 2 combo is the way to go. And I'm not even running it with Gang. I'm running it with Hector, and I'm running it with Philip being behind Arthur and Achilles. That's how I'm doing it. And it was so much better. Okay, so that's the biggest takeaway from that. From there, my BQ is rocking, Luce is rocking. Everything else is doing really, really well. And of course, at the top, my chin just cooking. Overall in the KvK, you can see my kill point ratio was 126%. My power ratio was 121%. Felt I did really, really well, had a great time with it, and that's how this thing is going to wrap up. Speaking of those stats, let's go into those real quick, and I'll show you. Genie went nuts, all right? Genie is one of the best freaking players in this game. I swear, this guy's awesome, just everywhere. I'm finishing about 129th in kill points, and that's pretty respectable considering this is my second account, and it's a massive Imperium KvK. Our boy Genie just crushed everybody. All right, then you've got some of these other guys from 2728, 875, big time representation. You've got our Korean guys over here in 365. You got Enorme, that is the old Protego account. What's interesting about this account was that it migrated out during KvK. So it would have been right up there at the top. And of course, our boy Enzo and 2359. Enzo I talk about all the time. Probably the best fighter I've ever seen. And he's got a YouTube channel. You can check out him when he fights. So there's our boy Makote. He's chilling in the top 10. Makote and 3303. So Kyrian, you guys have seen me talk about him. He was in my top 10 best of the best archer marches or archer rallies in the game. And so a lot of heavy hitters. Staffer, my boy. A lot of heavy hitters playing in this. There's Alto and 2728. So you got all these different people that did that. On the death side of things, Makote just crushed it, man. This guy goes all in. There's our boy Glock, who went rogue again. This guy, unbelievable. And so Makote just taking the cake, really giving everything he has. He always does that. One of the nicest, best Krakens you can find. And oh, by the way, PSG just crushed Liverpool in the Champions League this week. So that was fun too, because he captains PSG and he is the captain of the reigning European champion leaders in PSG. And so we love Makote. But Kyrian running it down. You got John Wick up here, Ang Pro. Ang's got his account here. There's the Enorme account. That's what you see. Vince Camelot, he ran it down as well. On the heel points, woo, baby. Genie's going to be at the top. Genie trade positive? Yeah, he did. Genie did really well. You've got all this stuff going with the healing that goes on. There's our boy Matt Achilles. He's getting an autark. Good job, buddy. And it is fun to see. Now, if you look at my kill points, I'm at 839 million. And that's not kill points. That's basically for the autark. I think I capped out at like 3.5 billion in this KvK. Then my healing is at 705. So 839 to 705. That's a great tank score. I feel good about that. We're tank scoring that thing, baby. And so that's where this thing ended up. Credit to everybody that was in it, and credit to all the great players who are finishing on these leaderboards, okay? The next thing I wanted to talk about is the garrisons. Of course, you guys have seen so many. I saved some of these. You've seen so many of my garrisons that I ran, and the Gorgo Hector just cooked, y'all. It just cooked. Even held up against the Swarm. Part of the reason why is because we're just filling anything with this. We filled whatever, siege, whatever. Didn't matter. When it goes and trades positive against Saga's Cavalry here, she's got a really good one, by the way, then you know you're cooking. I've talked about this at length. I'm not going to talk about it anymore. It's just, it goes without saying. Now, not a lot of these were long-running rallies. And let me see here. I've got some of these. Got some more field reports. Here was one of Andre's rallies. Let's see. What did he run that against? That wasn't against an Attila or a Gorgo Hector. Andre's got one of the best Attila Subutai arch rallies in the game. Like, it's as good as my main. It's crazy good. And when you're wrecking this and you're killing the garrison, the fact that Gorgo with Hector and mixed can go trade almost even with that is just insane. And that's why the Gorgo Hector works. That's why everybody was running it. These guys were running it over in 27-28. We were running it everywhere. And so from there, that's what people saw. We even saw some CY Hectors that a lot of players were running in 27-28 and 1903. We were seeing a lot of that stuff. I'll have a card at the end screen. You can go watch the big stream I did for like 8 hours for Kingsland. You can go see and skip through and see a lot of those different rallies. It's a lot of fun. But that's the main thing that we found. Collectively, I'll pull this up. This is what I found in this KvK. Now, I wish I had more reports, but you got to understand, when I am playing the game on my main PC, I can collect all the data from Report Manager. When I'm playing the game at home on my iPad or when I'm playing the game on my phone, I can't collect that data. So this is the best I could do. I did run Gorgo Hera a little bit early on before Hector came out. I ran Gorgo Toku, but we were running so much mixed, it kind of got wrecked a little bit, and we weren't sticking to the mono troop type. We could do it, but we just didn't want to waste all the infantry there. So you can see my Gorgo with Toku. This is all mixed, by the way. This is not mono troop type. My Gorgo Toku's not going to do very well. Gorgo Hera, not going to do very well. Gorgo Hector, rock and roll. Rock and freaking roll, man. And so that's what the play is going to be. People are running it with CY. I don't like Hector as much with CY because he does skill damage because he's so versatile like that. But I just don't think he's near as good. He's going to deal direct damage of 2,700. I don't think he's near as good with CY, even though he's got a really cool rage debuff, if you will, or rage mitigation. And he's okay in the field, I guess, if you put him behind Zuge. But I ran him behind BQ, did amazing. Okay, so he's got application for the field. I ran him behind Achilles, of course. You guys saw, did amazing. He's a combo commander. When he's behind cavalry, he's a smite commander. When he's behind infantry, and that works for the garrison. That's why that garrison is so powerful. But here's the thing. It doesn't end there, Hector fans. Those of you guys who have had to max him, you cavalry guys, get ready. Because this boy here, the more we look at him, he is like a mixed garrison. When David comes into the game, and I will have him maxed instantly, we will start testing him. When David comes into the game, he's going to bring a Cav AoE that we've never had in a garrison. He's going to run combo. He's going to run AoE combo. He's going to do all the cool things with the cleanse. And then over here, this is not Cav specific. The third skill. The fourth skill, not Cav specific. The expertise, not Cav specific. He looks like a mixed commander. The only thing you lose on this guy, okay, is 35% cavalry defense bonus. That's it. You still get the skill damage reduction of 10%. Doesn't matter what, if you have mixed or what. That's the only thing you lose. So David and Hector, calling it now. Get ready. Because it's going to be the most potent garrison we have seen in the game. Period. I'm just telling you. Like, you can run it monotroop type, and you can run it mixed. It doesn't even freaking matter. Like, to put things into perspective, when we run Gorgo mixed, okay, Gorgo Hector's working great mixed, right? But when we run Gorgo mixed, you got to understand something. Gorgo has a 40% attack bonus for infantry, okay? That gets nerfed when you start running mixed. You start bringing that number down as far as the effectiveness goes. But not just the attack, you also have a 30% health bonus. That's 70% of stats that start getting nerfed when you run mixed troops. And that's the reason why when you take that 70% of stats and you compare it to the 35%, like, David is so much more applicable for mixed. Well, if Hector's working great with Gorgo for mixed, Hector's going to work amazing for David. We just found this out. So part of this KvK helped us understand that the Gorgo Hector garrison, man, it's it. That's what you want to run with mixed. If you want to run mono troop type, you can still run Tokugawa, but it's easy just to run Hector. It does just as well mono troop type. You run Hector with Gorgo mono troop type, it's going to do just as well. And you might as well just run it because you can just dump anything you want in there. So that's one of the big takeaways that we've got for this KvK. Heartfelt appreciation for everybody in this KvK. 2728 and Black Mamba and that crew did amazing. You got great accounts over there, did amazing. 1903 Seneth and the Ducks, man, they came in and did the best they could. You had 365 and that crew saving them. They did really, really well. Hats off to 875. I mean, they showed up, y'all. Like, you saw on Matt Achilles' streams where Zone 5 didn't look very good for them and they fought back. And then they went into Zone 6 and they got some help from our boys in 3303. They really did well. And then, of course, in Kingsland, just overpowered. They left 2728 over here by themselves with us. And 1903 really concentrated this right side. And we just absolutely hammered 2728 by ourselves. And it was very valiant of 2728. These dudes were so good and they fought so freaking hard. And they were by themselves the entire KvK. All of Zone 5, of course, they had to. All of Zone 6, just about all of Zone 6. Only a couple of times did 1903 come over here to our Zone 6. So 2728's just having to fight a big Imperium in 2359 all by themselves in Zone 6. Held their own, held the pass, held their forts, and then held us off for a good 10 to 12 hours in Kingsland at that river by themselves. And it was really interesting to watch. Now, 1903 did come over and help out a little bit in Kingsland, but you got to give Black Mamba and that crew in 2728 just a ton of credit. So if you enjoyed this video, throw a thumbs up on it, give it a like. If you haven't subscribed, consider doing so. Love doing this stuff. Get down in my comments. Tell me if you were in this KvK, what you thought of it. Give me all your different feedback. Love to engage with you guys down in the comments. And if you want to join my Discord, you can hit that Discord link in the description. And with that being said, we love you, broskies. We'll see you later.